Many African countries are mono-economy based, while the quest for diversification is resonating in many countries. Specifically, subsectors in agriculture have been identified as potential gold mines. One of such is beekeeping and honey production. This week's edition of the program will focus on the beekeeping value chain and potential for economic development. Other stories of bilateral and trade relations, as well as COVID-19 vaccination drive across the continent, are also on the menu. I am Charles Alpha, welcoming you to Africa Weekly. Now, beekeepers around the world recently gathered in Damascus, Syria for this year's Honey Day Festival. Many beekeepers from Africa were in attendance. The festival was used to facilitate collaboration and business opportunities among practitioners.
The festival, organized by the Damascus Chamber of Agriculture in cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture and Agrarian Reform, displays the products of Syrian beekeepers, which are known for their quality and are subject to analysis. In addition to production requirements, wooden beehives and medical and food industries from the materials produced by bees. The Secretary of the Chamber of Agriculture, Mohammed Jenan, said in a statement that the aim of the festival is to encourage breeders and practitioners to restore what terrorism has destroyed in the sector, link the producer to the consumer, and introduce modern technologies to develop the bee sector. The number of beehives in Syria currently stands at 350,000. And the current number is still less than the numbers that were available before the terrorist war, which amounted at the time to 600,000 beehives.
Joining us now via Zoom from Jos is the President Plateau Beekeeping Value Chain Association, Mr. David Musa. Hello, Mr. David. We're glad to have you join us on Africa Weekly.
Thank you very much. Compliments of the season.
All right, wish you the same. Now, the concept of beekeeping, take us through its foundation and growth in Nigeria and Africa.
All right. Thank you. Basically, let me start like this. All life began in the wild. Okay. So, honey hunting, and the foundation of beekeeping in Africa and Nigeria share a similar background. So, records barely exist, but there are accounts of beekeeping and gathering and honey hunting in Egyptian hieroglyphs. So, as far back as that time, there was some documented information about beekeeping. Now, hunting and gathering, honey hunting and gathering, this is the key word now, as far as foundation is concerned. It evolved to traditional beekeeping as global influences began to impact Africa. Like, the Europeans came in, the Asians came in, the North Americans came in. And at this time, most of these civilizations had already begun to develop and evolve their own practices. So these practices impacted Africa.
The annual beekeeping or honey day exhibition has become popular among practitioners around the world. Now, how is Nigeria and Africa benefiting from this?
Oh, okay.
Yes, given the background that you have just painted.
So, in three basic ways. One, inspiring us to follow suit. Some of these activities have a place in policy. They're inspired a lot by the policy of the government. For us, FMAD, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and a few other stakeholders like NEPC, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Raw Materials Research Development Council, and the National Agriculture Platform, have followed suit. And so there is history. We also have our own celebration. So that's one way. we have our celebration of holiday days. That's one. Secondly, we participate. There is also participation in some of these foreign activities. The NEPC particularly sponsors exhibitors, sponsors exporters to these events. I have benefited. And then it's also, we are also benefiting by stimulating global trade through participation, which by implication will stimulate local growth. I think these are the three ways that we benefit.
Okay, now, what can honey value chain add to the Nigerian economy?
Okay, well, it's tough to break down this value to figures because, ab initio, our database system is not really that effective or that efficient. But I can say this: we can identify three major gaps in our economy: health, food security, and eco diversity. So, let's look at health. Beekeeping can affect health by improving local health or by providing solutions through alternative complementary methods to health. Now that means if we can impact beekeeping methods like apitherapy, there's a practice in apiculture called apitherapy. It uses honey and other products to deal with health issues. So the intervention of apitherapy can reduce health issues. Now, if you look at that intervention and value it by 10%, you think about that value will be going into billions. Now, the second one is food security. Bees provide pollination to at least 75% of all cash crops. Now, if beekeeping increases yield of cash crops by just 5%, I think we'll be talking in billions. Then lastly, Nigeria has one of the worst deforestation rates. So beekeeping can help to mitigate deforestation. Sorry, I said afforestation, not deforestation.
All right.
So Nigeria has one of the worst deforestation rates. Yeah. So these are the ways that they can. So bringing it down into a figure, we have earlier on projected that beekeeping can add to the GDP of this country by over several billion, a couple of $billions. That is our understanding.
Okay, now, if bee can add that much to the economy, so how much is being done to harness this?
Oh well, quite a lot. This particular administration, the Buhari administration has demonstrated some good political will. Nigeria has been involved at global level and also at continental level. And so, first of all, advocacy and stimulating interest, particularly from a political will point of view. They have supported Nigeria's bid and hosting of a continental apiculture platform, trade platform, which we hosted in 2018. So that's one good way. Secondly, the government has not stopped there. They have also funded they've also invested a lot of funding in various aspects of beekeeping development. It has also stimulated growth. It has also stimulated international trade. So I think I would say that this is one of the most visible. It's also stimulating local interest and private sector investment in it because international trade opportunities have been opened up.
All right, now just before I let you go, now your association, what is it doing to popularize its activities to make beekeeping attractive to young Nigerians as it is right now?
Our association in Plateau, particularly, I can speak for that, is partnering with youth associations through NGOs and local government councils to train, equip, and mentor and uptake from youth. Especially female youth. That's one thing that we're doing. Secondly, our company has developed a school-based academic resource program we call the Bee Safari, and it goes to stimulate at academic level the basic principles of beekeeping so that you can stimulate and generate the next generation of environmental entrepreneurs. We participate in platforms like this. This is another very potent method to be able to reach out and make it attractive to you. But lastly, I think and most for us, quite significantly, we are prioritizing social media driven strategies to advocate the beekeeping practice. And recently, we went into the movie space, Nigerian movie space, and we sponsored a film that should come out. It was basically youth driven, and it had a very strong beekeeping theme. It will soon premiere, And we hope that that will stimulate the youth. So this is what we're trying to do within our own area,
All right.
our immediate region.
Thank you very much for your contribution on the program, Mr. David.
You're welcome.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Now,
Thank you very much for having me.
all right, Mr. David, the President Plateau Beekeeping Value Chain Association, they're talking to us on the topic. Thank you so much for watching. Next is Tidbit segment. That will be after the break. Please stay with us. The Turkey Africa Summit has held in Istanbul, where President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria and other African countries made a case for more Turkey investments in the continent.
The Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit, organized by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, had in attendance 16 heads of state and government, as well as over 100 ministers in charge of key sectors of their country's economies. Themed Enhanced Partnership for Common Development and Prosperity, the summit was aimed at carrying forward the strategic ties between Turkey and the continent of Africa to a new stage. Addressing participants, President Muhammadu Buhari said given the increasingly unpredictable nature of contemporary global challenges facing mankind, well-being of humanity must remain at the center of their agenda for the common good and prosperity of all.
We must therefore promote science, technology, and innovation, and share knowledge from research and development to better equip us to address present and future challenges in a more equitable and sustainable manner. The Turkey-Africa Strategic Partnership has become an integral part of our foreign policies, and the notable milestone recorded since the inception of this partnership attests to this. Not only has there been mutual support to respond to the pandemic, but also mutual support to build resilience and sustainable development in other sectors.
President Buhari was also delighted that due consideration was given to the issue of terrorism, saying in the Lake Chad Basin, for instance, Boko Haram, though fragmented and degraded, is still active and preying on soft targets.
We call upon our partnership to provide concrete support to help defeat terrorism and insurgency on the African continent. Another area this partnership was focused on is the global challenge of climate change, which is affecting us in Nigeria, Turkey, across Africa, and indeed across the world.
The quest for Nigeria to attain effective border control has received a boost as the International Center for Migration Policy Development launched the Modernizing Nigeria Immigration Service Workforce.
Technology is doing so much these days, no doubt, but humans are still needed to set these technologies in motion. It is in recognition of this that the International Center for Migration Policy Development, supported by the Danish government, has developed the Modernizing Nigeria Immigration Service (MONIS) project to not only upgrade the service's technological capacity, but more importantly, enhance its human capacity for greater productivity.
The MONIS project, which we are launching today, was conceived to support the NIS in its ongoing reform efforts, focusing on human resource management, a critical aspect of all its operations.
One important aspect of building capacity is that employees stay on board and see a future for themselves.
I assure you that the NIS is deeply committed to the success of this project and will do everything possible within its purview to make sure that the specific objectives of the project are achieved within the timeline.
The Minister of Interior acknowledges the importance of human capital development and wants the Nigeria Immigration Service to make the most of the opportunity.
Capacity building is the heart and soul of every business. For a workforce to have a clear career path and progression, established and properly documented, is to have a motivated workforce.
It's now days to the end of 2021, but Nigerians will be looking out for the impact of the MONIS project in the new year.
Nigeria is maintaining her status as a big shoulder for African countries to lean on. It sent another batch of health workers to Guinea-Bissau to assist in that country's healthcare development.
This is the first batch of 74 specialized health workers being deployed to Guinea-Bissau. There are 17 volunteers willing and ready to contribute to the well-being of citizens in Guinea-Bissau. Adama Samuel John is a retired pediatrician who is excited to be re-engaged to practice and serve as an ambassador of Nigeria to the world. From inception in 1987 to date, Nigeria has deployed more than 8,000 volunteers in different fields in 35 countries of Africa and the Caribbean. The deployment is seen as a veritable foreign policy tool to strengthen diplomatic relations with other countries and assert Nigeria's position as a continental leader.
We'll take you to Kenya, where health professionals have conducted a survey that shows a high level of negative perception towards the COVID-19 vaccine. How to change that perception is now a challenge.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has launched its COVID-19 policy brief, highlighting what can be done to increase public acceptance of the COVID-19 vaccines, as well as combat vaccine hesitancy. According to a rapid assessment survey done in June 2021 by KMPDU, 75% of the respondents registered a negative perception of the COVID-19 vaccines, while 77.5% had a negative perception on the vaccination process in Kenya. Some of the contributing factors included insufficient inclusion of stakeholders, corruption and theft of COVID-19 resources that deepened public distrust, alongside dominant myths and misinformation on the vaccines.
There must be a design that is implementable, that will give the public a lot of confidence in understanding the vaccine, the virus, and have acceptability. That there's need to broaden participation of all the stakeholders, from the church leaders, from the community healthcare workers, from all the administrative leaders.
The union is urging the government to avail more vaccines and offer public education on the importance of the jab, while at the same time supporting the recent directive by the court, halting implementation of the vaccination directive on accessing government services.
Still in Kenya, the 40th anniversary of the Disability Trust Fund has been held, where President Uhuru Kenyatta promised a greater support to the fund.
Oh, wow. You're laughing. President, yeah. Well done.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Thursday led stakeholders of the National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya, institutions and schools for special needs in celebrating 40 years since the establishment of the fund.
Yeah, beautiful. You make this? Yeah. Yeah?
The president lauded the fund's role in breaking barriers to secure social inclusion and individual empowerment of people living with disabilities.
We have overcome numerous obstacles and without doubt restored hope to millions among us. The fruits of the fund are tangible. Careers have been birthed and nurtured. Persons living with disabilities have seen their businesses flourish.
President Uhuru, however, called for the establishment of a framework that supports research, technology, and innovation to address current and even future challenges.
And that's our package for this week's edition of Africa Weekly. Many thanks to you for watching. I am Charles Alpha.